No matter the year, there has to be a handful of magic anime for the ever-thirsty magic fanatics that just don't get tired of these shows.
Great time to show you the last script magic lecture, actually.
Careful!
Lesson 1.
Throw in an all-powerful main character in the mix, and no matter how bad or good the show is, magic anime just tend to steal the spotlight every once in a while. Welcome to Animeology, and today we bring you the best new magic anime with an overpowered main character in 2022. Number 10, The Dawn of the New Witch.
Now cry out!
Starting off the list is The Dawn of the Witch, which you might want to check out simply for how it treats the whole pretend weak MC tone. The story is set in a magical world with magical academies, mages training to be stronger, and all that stuff. Our protagonist Sable attends the Royal Magical Academy but has the worst grade in the entire school, and he doesn't even have any memories of life before joining the academy. Due to his condition of what I think is amnesia or something like that, the headmaster appoints him to a special training regimen along with Dawn Witch and a couple of other mages. The team is tasked to make a witch settlement in an anti-witch region, which seems like an impossible task, but is made quite possible due to Sable's infinite supply of magic power. Number 9, I'm Quitting Heroing. This show is a very unique anime that incorporates smart tweaks and twists into the basic layout of what a fantasy world should look like in an anime. After Demon Queen Echidna starts to terrorize and conquer the humans, it's up to hero Leo Demonheart to put an end to her tyrannical acts. While Leo does manage to put an end as he was expected to, the feedback he got from the humans was quite unexpected. Instead of praising him for his act of bravery and heroism, they start to berate him for his overwhelming power as they fear that nothing is stopping him from doing what Echidna just attempted. This leads to Leo getting banished from his kingdom, which deeply affects his morality as he questions the point of being a hero and decides to quit. Upon hearing that Echidna is yet again attempting to revive her plans, Leo, the once brave hero, makes a decision to join the Demon Queen on her charade instead of trying to oppose her. Number 8, The Devil is a Part-Timer, Season 2. The long-awaited sequel to one of the most beloved seasonal anime is finally here. The Devil is a Part-Timer is set to immediately follow the events of the first season. Before I go on any further, I'd like to give out a massive spoiler alert, and with that out, we continue on by looking at the final events of the first season. The story of Demon Lord who teleported to modern Japan and started working as a part-timer with the name Sadao ended with him realizing that his own ally was trying to betray and kill him for personal gains. While Sadao and the team successfully managed to defeat Lucifer and Olba Meyer, you can expect a lot of other betrayals and entanglements in the coming season. After a 9-year gap, there is certainly a lot in store for the audiences, in terms of visuals as well as the story. Number 7, The Executioner and Her Way of Life. Coming in at number 7 is an anime that I don't know how I was able to wrap my head around the plot of this one, since it tries too hard to be a little deceiving at times. The Executioner and Her Way of Life is an isekai that doesn't really try hard to be one. The story centers around Muto Mitsuki, a regular student who is summoned to a different realm where he meets a priestess named Minnow, who tells him that outlanders like Muto are known as the Ancient Lost Ones and have something called special concepts. Upon hearing this, Muto thinks of himself as a big deal and starts celebrating, right until the moment the story completely switches gears and now focuses on the actual main character Minnow, who kills Muto and makes her intentions of eliminating the Lost Ones pretty clear. Number 6, The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest. In a world where mages are literally born with the class or the type of magical abilities they will be using, a crest is what determines what path they will be taking as a sage. Sage is a substitute word for a mage in this anime, so no need to rush the comment section with the "he mistook mage for sage" comments. Gaius, who was born with the crest specializing in the creation, masters everything there is to know about this form of magic to a point where he is called the strongest sage in the world. However, this reputation is not satisfactory for Gaius, who yearns for magical powers that give him overwhelming strength in close combat. In order to achieve his goal, Gaius reincarnates thousands of years into the future and finally receives the crest that would allow him powers in close combat. However, he realizes that he is no longer as strong as he was before, and the crest he got is the weakest among the 4 crests given to mages. Number 5. The Demon Girl Next Door Season 2. Still an ongoing anime, which is also a sequel to Demon Girl Next Door 1, which came out back in 2019, this anime is still exploring the extent of the main character's abilities and stories, which is why calling her overpowered might be a bit off the mark, but it's still a great watch. The story follows Yuko Yoshida, who one day wakes up with demon horns and tails, as her family reveals that she's a descendant of the Dark Clan, who is cursed to be hated by their arch nemesis, the Light Clan. In order to lift this curse, Yuko has to exterminate a specific magical girl, who just happens to save her from a life or death situation. Yuko, who now trains under the much stronger savior, has to make a difficult decision as she trains with the person she is tasked to defeat. Number 4. Skeleton Knight in Another World. No, this is not Overlord. And for anyone trolling this anime to be an Overlord ripoff, you should definitely watch it once and prove yourself wrong. Skeleton Knight in Another World is an anime that pretty much sums itself up in the title. The overall plot is that of a basic isekai, but the moral upbringing this anime offers is quite unique. Our protagonist is a gamer who sleeps while playing a game and wakes up to find himself inside the game world, only for him to realize that he was teleported into the game as a literal walking, talking skeleton. While Ark, the protagonist, is born into this game world with crazy buffs, armors, and weapons, his real struggle is to find a place to belong and find a definition of what he is and where his place in this new world is. Number 3. The Rising of the Shield Hero, Season 2. I mean, can you blame me for this? Can you? This was probably the most anticipated fantasy anime for spring 2022, given that Season 1 was such a banger. I'm pretty sure that most of you guys have watched Season 1 and know about the events that took place, so I will directly try and sum up what has been happening in Season 2. Season 2 is loosely still following the same formula as Season 1, where they're attempting to make Naofumi seem like an underdog, but it hasn't worked quite as well as Season 1 did. However, there are still a handful of episodes left to air, and the development so far has been good enough to set up a huge twist or the next major turning point that will definitely get this anime back to its former glory. And Raptalia is still just as cute, so there's that to look forward to. Number 2. The Greatest Demon Lord is reborn as a typical nobody.
Riches! What more could those girls?
Another anime that pretty much sums up itself in the title, The Greatest Demon Lord is Reborn as a Typical Nobody is a story about exactly what the title says. A demon lord who's reborn as a typical nobody, except his reborn process doesn't exactly go as planned. Demon Lord Varvatos has a rather bleak perception of life, as his insanely overwhelming powers makes things too easy for him. Being able to do just about anything and defeat just about anyone makes Varvatos think that life really is pointless if everything is achievable so effortlessly. This makes Varvatos want to experience life in a more fulfilling and trying manner, so he decides to reincarnate. Except he reincarnates into a modern world, and unlike in his previous life, he fixes his magical prowess to be perfectly average, so that he can live life while putting some amount of effort to make things happen. His ultimate plans immediately backfires as he realizes that this new world and the people that inhabit it have very weak magical powers, so an average mage like Varvatos is yet again considered to be overpowered. Number 1. Overlord Season 4. If you didn't guess this entry from the title of today's video, then I guess it proves the fact that a new Overlord season was long overdue. Overlord has been arguably the best anime in terms of handling an overpowered main character. Some might argue that Tensuda is better, and it might be too because Rimuru is objectively a much better protagonist compared to Ainz. However, Overlord does everything else in such a convincing manner. The side characters, the overall aim of Ainz, and the world building that this anime has managed to offer are remarkable and worthy of note. You end up guessing that with all the powers Ainz has obtained and all the glory and reputation he's achieved in this new world, there wouldn't be much to add to the story beyond the cause, and that would make no sense. But the writers somehow make it work. Season 4 of Overlord is likely to near the end of the series, or at least be a pathway to the end, so we can expect to see a lot of secrets unfolding.